Welcome back to the Volairen show. Or Volairen show. I think I screwed that up. Anyway, I can't talk tonight. But anyway, welcome to the Volairen show again. This is number 29. So I have done this show 29 times. That's crazy. Time is freaking. It is absolutely fun. So I have a new idea. It's been a bit since I did the Volairen show because I stepped back to focus on my new Stellaris show that I do in the morning. And so far I've been doing it in the mornings, and I believe I'm going to keep doing that, barring extreme circumstances. You know, there are no guarantees with my channel, as you guys know. I am subject to so much chaos in my life, from one thing or another. Health problems, random occurrences, family drama. The whole gamut has happened to me since moving, changing location, going to a different country. So lots of chaos, right? And you got to work with it, right? You got to go with it. So we're doing the Volairen show tonight. I felt like it was time. I was like, you know what? I miss streaming at night. It's, at least for me, it's nighttime. Now, it's a morning for you guys in America. Now, if you want, I ask that if you can, if you're able, to leave a comment and tell me what time in the morning works best for you. So I know that people usually get up around 6 to go to work, right? In the East Coast. So, so 6 in the evening for me would be 6 o'clock in the morning for you guys. It's 8 o'clock right now. I know many of you are getting up. Now, I probably should do this a little later, I think, because that way I get the entire country, not just the East Coast. I also hopefully get the people waking up in the West Coast. But then again, I don't, But you guys tell me, when would you like me to do this show? Now, obviously, I can't do it too late because I'll get tired. I'll get too tired. Obviously, I'm not going to do it at like midnight or something here, or noon for you guys. I basically zonk out between midnight or close to midnight and 6 o'clock in the morning on average. So between 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. for you guys. That's when I zonk out. So I don't want to do it too late. But it would actually, a thought did occur to me that maybe I should do this at lunchtime. So there's that thought as well. Tell me your opinions on that. When do you go to lunch? Like, when do you sit down in front of your smartphone and go, you know what? I'm going to watch Volairen. Or I'm bored. I'm going to watch YouTube. I want to know when you're doing that. Honestly. If you could let me know when you do that in the morning, it'll get me great insight. For those of you in the U.S., mind you, I'm not talking about you guys here in the Philippines. My Stellaris show is pretty much fixed to whenever I get up and get around to it in the morning. That's usually always between the hours of 6 to 10 p.m. in America. So that works. But like, I have a lot more control over when I'm awake in the evening and how much I'm awake in the evening. So I'm usually pretty energized. I've always been a night person. It's kind of been a curse. I would give almost anything sometimes to have been born a morning person. I'm just not. But I am better today, especially going carnivore, than I was before and this is a little side tangent, but before I was absolutely just comatose in the mornings. I could not function at all. I was miserable. It took hours for me to get up, for me to even be able to function. Like, and it didn't matter if I had coffee or caffeine or what I had. I could not wake up. So, until like damn near noon. But anyway. So, yeah. Let me know when you guys are on your phones. Let me know when you're watching YouTube. You know, give me some insight if you can. I might even leave a post about this. I'd like to know, when would you like me to be on in the mornings for this show? Because I think so. Another thing too. So what I want to do with the show from now on, as long as I keep doing it. Now, am I going to do this every day? Probably not. But I am feeling like I want to do this regularly. I want to stream in the evening if I can. I may not be able to. Something might take that place. In fact, there are a few days of the week where I'm probably not going to be able to do it. Because I spend online time with family on those days, on those nights. So, or morning. So, but other than that, yeah, let me know. You know, when would you like this? When in the morning would you like me to do this? When do you, like I said, when do you get on your smartphone? You know, when do you take your morning break or whatever? Like when is the most convenient time for you? When do you watch? If you do. So yeah. Anyway, moving on. So, what are we doing today for the show? Well, I got food in about 10 or 20 minutes, but we are going to look at a obscure game. In fact, this is what I'm going to do with the show from now on. Or, you know, until further notice. I'm going to try to make a habit of playing the more obscure games on my Steam games list that I play all the time when you guys aren't watching. And this is one of those games. I've played off and on over the years since its development. This is called Necesse, okay? So this is actually a fairly decent game, and it got a huge update, absolute huge update. They completely redid the graphics on this game. It looks like a completely different game now. Like, I literally have a different experience playing this game now than I did when the graphics were absolute ass. And they were, yeah, the graphics were terrible. They really were. They were the sticking point of the game. Like, if it weren't for all the other great features of the game, I probably would have never picked it up the way it looked. It looked atrocious. So I'm really glad they did this. Now it looks fine. You know, it's still pixelated, just like, but it doesn't look any worse than, like, say, Terraria does. You know? So, in fact, in some ways it's better because it's isometric. It's not straight 2D. So, it's not a side scroll. So it actually potentially looks even better than Terraria does. So, in some ways. Yeah, and for those of you that have never seen this game before, if you've ever played Terraria, this is almost a carbon copy of it to an extent, in a lot of ways. This shares many similarities. But what makes this game great, compared to Terraria, and what sets it apart, is its colony management system. This is like, it's like Terraria and RimWorld had a baby. Imagine if all those NPCs in Terraria could do all the stuff that that your colonists in RimWorld could. In fact, they can actually do. The colonists here are actually way different, and there's way more features with them. Like, they'll sort your chests. They'll sort your chests out. They'll cook your food. They'll craft your furniture and building supplies, and like they'll basically do everything. You basically have complete automation with your settler. They call them settler. You know, your NPCs. And then you can talk to them and interact with them, and you can even recruit them to your adventure party. This is a new feature, and you have an inventory, right? You can give them food, potions, and whatnot, and even a recall scroll, and they will go out into the world with you and adventure with you, you know, almost like you and be in party with you, almost like you were playing co-op with someone. And you can clear those dungeons that you used to have to clear by yourself. You can clear them with your NPCs now rather easily. Now they do up the difficulty a little bit when you take advantage of this feature, but it's almost not noticeable. It really is, especially when you fight bosses with them. It really, in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they buffed the penalties a little bit, or they did more balance tweaks, because it really is powerful. I'm not gonna say quite overpowered, but it's very powerful. It's very fun too. Like, now the flip side of that though, and you got to be careful of this, and this is where recall scrolls come. If they die at any time, you lose them forever. Now, the caveat is they do come back. They can come back to be re-recruited the next day. That often happens, but sometimes it doesn't. So you don't want your settlers to die. That's a very bad thing when they die, potentially. It's very risky. It's not a good thing when they die. So you gotta make sure they stay alive. So that's kind of the catch, right? Especially when you're fighting bosses with these guys. Make sure you got that recall scroll on them so they can teleport out if they're about to die, because that's what they'll use the recall scroll. So they can save themselves from dying. They just won't be in your party anymore. So that's like the trade-off, right? And the boss does get stronger when you have more people in your party. So, but yeah, this is just like Terraria in that there's bosses. It's a conquest game. So you've got all these bosses and dungeons and just tons of like places to explore and whatnot. You know, as you can see, I built all this. I programmed all this. There's a lot of like programming in this game. So you go to these chests, right? And you program them to tell the settlers what you want them to do with this chest, right? So in this chest case, I want them to store minerals and iron bars or metal bars, so that. And then what's really cool is you got these crafting stations. I don't know if you can see them, but we have an anvil right here, right? Now you could automate this, but we don't really need to. But if we had enough settlers that need enough gear, which they can equip gear, that's the other really cool thing about them. Didn't start out that way. So like this, but yeah, you basically, you don't even need the items in your inventory to craft them. They just need to be in a chest nearby, which makes this really, really cool. Makes dungeoning and going back out there to get more loot and kill more stuff, all the more enjoyable, because you're not spending hours sorting out your inventory like in other games like Minecraft. So, but yeah, say I want to build this or craft this frost axe. You know, I don't even have the frost shards in my inventory. They're in a box next to it, and it reads those. It reads everything. Let me see if I can show you. Oh no, actually no. I want to. Okay, see that radius that just popped up? That's its draw radius. Any chest in that zone right there that popped up, it will read those and use the items inside them. So this is very smooth, very efficient, very, very enjoyable. It does take time to set up. You do have to, there is a learning curve, but once you figure it out and you get used to it, like I said, really the hardest part of this game is setting up your base and programming everything. Other than that, it's just non-stop fun. Like, But so is Terraria, right? You building your base is time consuming, but building your base is enjoyable too. And so it's the same in this game. So, also like RimWorld, these settlers, they have happiness. They're affected. How you feel? They're affected by things like having a large settlement or eating enough meals, which they also eat the food that you produce, and have the size of their bedroom, right? So they have happiness modifiers just like settlers and RimWorld do. So yeah, and there's negatives as well. So anyway, so let's get to it now. I forgot exactly what I was doing, but we can just look at you have a main quest line. It's pretty rudimentary, but it works. It tells you what boss you're on next, basically. So right now, we need to get apprentice scrolls, so we're probably going to go to the dungeon. Now, this is one of those games that has a tile system, a tile map system. So this is our tile right here, or our island. It's basically islands. If you've ever played games like Forager, or there's other games too that have this feature, where you visit different islands, and instead of like biomes and stuff, but it's the same thing. They're really just biomes, and you do have different biomes like snow, there's forest, there's swamp. So the world is absolutely massive, right? You can go on forever, right? So our nearest dungeon is there. So now I'm going to check my adventure party to make sure that I didn't miss anything. We have recall scrolls, about that. We have 100 meatball meals, which is great. We have, now this spoils in an hour. That's not good. So probably should switch that out, actually. I don't like having that. That's actually not that many health potions, because that's the other part. You got to have a huge potion making operation, because these settlers in your party, they guzzle this stuff down like it's nothing. Mana potions are fine. We could use more health regen potions, so let's visit our potion box. Let's take out... Now, unfortunately, they have not been making potions, and I don't know why. So we'll just have to deal with it for now. As for food, we're gonna come over here. Now our food box is full, so that's gonna be a problem that we're gonna have to deal with. So I liked having those meatballs, but looks like maybe we should just go ahead and go with the blueberry cake. Maybe. Well, the bread does give them more health. Yeah, all the different foods in this game, they give you buffs as well. Now, fish tacos, there's not that many of them. I guess for now we could stick with... Let's go with bread. We'll go with bread. Get 100 bread. Now, they're probably going to run through it faster than the meatballs. Go ahead. That. Let's see. So this spoils them. Now I have a problem with this game with the food still spoiling, even though it's in the fridge. I still think that's kind of dumb. But it is still a lot more efficient, right? We got 3 more hours on it. So that's going to feed our colonists pretty well. Now hopefully our colonists will start making some more food and start making some more potions, especially. Now, I want to know why there's not any potions. So we're going to look at flowers. Now we have lots of sunflower. So I don't know what's going on here. So we're going to take these sunflowers. I don't know if I forgot to program. potion box or not? No, I didn't get to. No, I'm sorry. The potion station. Okay, so it's programmed. They should be crafting. So there's obviously some kind of issue, and we have plenty of bottles, so they're just not crafting. So I'll have to address that problem later, but not right now. Oh. Okay, well, I used all my fire meat. Well... Now, I have a lot of health potions. I don't think I need that many. I think that should be enough. So, I think we're alright, but I definitely want to... I'm gonna make 100, yeah. We'll make 100 potions. Because so you can easily make this stuff yourself if you want to, but it's really nice for them to just do it for you and you don't have to think about it. So, but in this case, we have to do a little manual work here. Alright, so we got them full on potions. So these guys are pretty well supplied now. I think we're good. So we're gonna go ahead and put the flowers back. Is it? Now wait a minute. Let me look at. Look at. Manage area. I don't have any area. Okay, so they're just doing whatever. Nobody dedicated to crafting. Might have to set that up later, but for right now, let's have some fun. Let's go up and get the dungeon. Now, actually, I want to introduce you to my two adventurers. So this guy, he's a mage. He uses Blood Volley just like I do. So we use Blood Volley together. He gets stats from his armor and his gear, just like I do. Okay, now he doesn't have any trinkets like I do. So that's my advantage over them. But like, other than that, he fights just like a normal player. Like any other normal player would. He gets stats and everything. He gets buffs from the food that he eats. It's great. They did a really good job with it. And then this guy, he's like the warrior, right? He's got a glaive. You know, you'll see him in action, and it spins around, and it does a really good job for melee wise. And he's got frost gear. So I myself, I'm rocking the void gear from the wizard set, and I basically use mana. I use magic weapons mainly. So just like Terraria, there's different types of weapons, and a lot of guys, myself included, when we play games like Terraria and this, we like to choose a specific weapon type and just use that. It's kind of a fun challenge, right? I haven't been able to go back since I've done things that way. I don't know. There's something about like being limited to one weapon in these kind of games that I find very, very enjoyable, very fun. In sometimes though a masochistic sort of way. I think, especially when it comes to using a bow only. It kind of it can be very difficult. So, all right, the island's this way. So as you can see, we hop the islands over here, and they have boats. You can put it in your mount slot. Press a button. You're able to go across water. So this is where the entrance to the dungeon is. You can get maps that point you to where these are in the world. Now, the crap thing is, we may need to get another dungeon because we never got this apprentice scroll from the dungeon. But honestly, I think I've explored this entire dungeon. So I think we may have to get another one. Now, there is there's areas here, so we can definitely go here and try to see if we can get that scroll, and then we'll come back here and we'll fight the boss. Now, I know you guys aren't seeing this from the beginning. That's unfortunate, but necessary, because obviously I'm not going to be streaming this all the time. This is just, I'm just showcasing this today. If you do want to see more Necesse, please let me know in the comments. You know, if I get enough of you going, hey man, I like that Necesse game, you should stream it more, I will stream it more. In fact, hell, I might, if I get enough views, if I get enough numbers, right, then I may make a change, right? I might make a video about it. We'll see. But as of right now, the reason I don't, did I get my scroll? No, I didn't. Okay. But there's more to discover here. Come on. Yeah, we clear rooms pretty fast. Yeah, that's it, unfortunately. So, okay, there's a... Oh, wait, there's another dark area. Maybe I should just leave that dark. Okay, yeah. I should leave these areas dark until I get what I want. Okay, I did get the apprentice scroll. Okay, that's good. Alright, so we're actually gonna fight a boss immediately. But like I said, again, and I'll say this throughout the stream, if you like this game, if you want to see more... Stupid trap. Okay. Yeah, if you want to see more, we'll just use the recall scroll. Let me know. Let me know if you want to see this game more. It may be hard to see too, because it like Terraria, the stuff is small. I think I'm going to zoom in just so you can see it better, even though it's going to be harder for me to play. That's all right. I'll just deal with it, so you can see this game better. So I'm gonna. Well, we got to go up here, and this is like our original settler. He gives the. You don't want this guy to die. Make sure you keep this guy alive. So. All right. So now we're gonna kill the Void Wizard. That's the. Now this particular boss is difficult. We might lose. No. It is a definite possibility. In fact, what I want to do, I don't think I have enough money. I do have a little bit of money, and I actually do have a lot of sunflower. So I think we're going to sell the sunflower to get lots of money. That's what we're going to do. Because we have plenty of potions. We'll get plenty more sunflowers. We're going to come over here. Have my farmer sell crops to for good money. This is basically how I generally make it. And also, if you put him in a nice room with fancy stuff, he gives you an even better deal on sales. That's why you want to put him in a room by himself. Looks like we got another guard has arrived, so that's good. That's another adventurer that we can suit up. You mainly want guards to be your adventurer. You don't want the regular settlers to do it, because guards have an extra health and damage buff that is very strong, and so it's very hard for guards to do. So you want the guards, you don't want the regular settler coming with you fighting boss. Okay, so I got some coins. So what I'm gonna do is, and you can do this in Terraria. I forgot what NPC does it, but there's an NPC, there's an enchanting NPC where you basically randomly put enchants on your trinkets and stuff and all your armor, and it costs a lot of money. This is no different. The exact same mechanic. So now, now I have 4 armor on this, so I'm okay with that. So I want to put armor on these trinkets. They don't have it. So now this has 20 mana regen, but honestly, just like in Terraria, you really just want to put armor on all of your gear, no matter what you're doing. It really, unless you want to be a glass cannon, which you can do that if you're really good at not getting hit. But like me, I'm average when it comes to mechanical skill at times. So, especially precision mechanical skill, like I'm all right, but like I said, I am no champion, right? I am not like, you know, top percentile mechanically. Okay, I'm 41 years old, and I'm, you know, like I said, I have a lot of experience and I have some mechanical skill, but like I said, I'm not gifted. So if you're the average player, just or it's your first time, just bank on the armor. Just get armor, and you'll be fine. You'll clear the bosses if you have enough armor, just like in Terraria. So, and hey Finnaru, how's it going? So we're gonna go ahead and looking to enchant now. Actually, you know what we should do? We should actually check our scroll. We should check our enchant scrolls to make sure that we don't... Why is this all weird? Aren't mining off. Okay, so enchanting scroll. We have several. So this one's damage, summon speed. This one's attack speed, mana usage, wide damage, not bad. So we could put this on our weapon. We could put these on our weapons for sure. But the rest of these don't really matter. Planning to play a game with friends, but not sure if they come. You know, they didn't edit some videos. Yeah. How's that editing coming, man? My editing's going good. I actually, yeah, guys, just want to let you know, my latest work is very close to completion. I am just doing the screenshots right now, and I've already done the voice work, edited the voice. The voice is as perfect as it's gonna get. I'm not gonna say it's perfect. It could always use some work, but like, it's pretty solid. So I'm doing the footage right now. You know, maybe putting text effects down and everything, effects and whatnot, and screenshots, and putting that down. And I think the video is about 80% complete. It took, I gotta be honest, I was out of commission. What can I say? I didn't have any motivation these past 3 or 4 days to work. Not proud of it, but like, I really had to kind of dig deep and really kind of look at myself and, okay, it was one of those, see, in perfect practice, when you get knocked down, right, when you experience bullshit, you get back up, right? That's the perfect practice. But life doesn't always work that way. It's difficult to get back up, and this time it was really difficult. And I'm one of those guys that wants to lay there. I do, by default. I want to lay there. I had to learn this the hard way, and some people don't know that. Like, really, like, the only way really to succeed in this world is to keep going and to persevere and to get back up when you get knocked down. So I knew I needed to do that, but it took me a few, you know, it took me some time to go, okay, all right, we've been on our pity party long enough now. Let's get up here and get back to it, you know. Probably took 2 hours because my potato sometimes has hard time handling. Yeah. So King, how's it going, man? Good to see you again, dude. Hope you're doing well. And so yeah, I got knocked down this month. I did. But you know what? I'm still here in the Philippines, so that's a blessing. And I made it through. You know, I have, you know, things are getting better. And in fact, things are great right now. You know, on paper, right? But then there's what's going on paper, and then there's how you feel in your head. So those can be vastly. So yeah, I mean, and they're also, I want to point out, there were things that I was doing routinely before I moved to the Philippines that I stopped doing when I moved over here. And I've started, since yesterday, I've started doing those things again. Such as meditation. I hadn't meditated for a little bit, and it was definitely showing. And then on top of that, I wasn't doing my inventory process. In other words, my journaling, or whatever you want to call it. Basically, for me, it's kind of like a military after action review. Like, while I was meeting you guys, basically getting, you know, 3,000 subscribers over the course of a year, I am working really hard. That was one of the things behind the scenes that I was doing that was really, I felt really was responsible for my success. Partly. Responsible for the success I got in 2020. So, and now, to an extent. So, I'm doing that again, and I'm already feeling somewhat better. Also, oh shoot, I better get this guard before he leaves. Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Okay, he's up there. I think he's up there. Zoom out. Where is this guy? You're not leaving, dude. I'm not letting you leave. There you are. There you are. Nope, nope. You're coming with me, bud. You are not getting away. Okay. Good. That was a close call. All right. We don't want to pass up on a guard, dude. Guards. The other thing guards do is defend your base from raiders, which are these guys I have with me. They're like two-man army. They could clear out an entire group of raiders, no problem. So, but yeah, like I said, I got knocked down. I had to dig deep. I had to think, you know, I had to brainstorm a little bit. I don't like to call it brainstorm, but I don't know a better word to use for it. But I had to come up with some ideas, like, because what I was doing wasn't working. So it's like, and I'm trying this new format, so we'll see how that works. But I was also, the other reason I had a hard time getting back up is because I was afraid, right? I was afraid that, like, okay, what if I make this video and I put this effort into it, and what if this gets dead on arrival? Because it's not a guide, it's not a Stellaris guide. So, like, even though I think it's a really good format and it's really, you know, I think it's good content, but I think that about every one of my videos. So really, you know, but I've got to try, right? I've got to put one foot forward. I've got to make an effort. I've got to show up. I've got to get up. I got to keep. I can't just play there, right? I can't just not upload it. No. So that's the attitude I got to have. So today, I finally got around. I got on my editor and I just started cranking it out. And it was painful at first, because that was the other thing. I was running into complications with voice work and stuff, and yeah, so yeah. And the war against my own body continued. You know, I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning with super leg cramps, really painful, made me sore half the day, and I'm like, all right, that's it. So I got some potassium salt, and after that, I've been feeling better. Because the last time I took it, I felt, you know, the cramps went away temporarily as well. But then as soon as I stopped eating it, yeah, this shit's crazy, right? Like, and it's like shooting in the dark, honestly, this whole time. No, I have somewhat of an idea of where I need to go, but like, where I need to point, but like, I'm still guessing, you know, playing the guessing game with what is going on with my body. Like I still don't know 100% for sure what I need to stop these cramps. I'm thinking, I'm starting to be convinced it's potassium, you know, but then again, I could go to sleep tonight, wake up in the morning, and have it happen all over again. But I gotta move on, right? So I gotta move on. And that's what I'm gonna do. So now we got the guard. So yeah, my new video is coming out. Now this video is gonna be about whether or not you should buy, own Stellaris DLC. It's just my opinion, my thoughts on the Stellaris DLC in general. Like, is it worth it? You know, is it worth your money overall to invest in? Worth investing in, you know, or you know, and there's a teaching piece in there, and I share what my process with how I evaluate whether or not just DLC, but any kind of content worth buying. I ask myself some simple questions, and I share them with you in the video. So it's really good. Check it out. I know it's not a guide. I know that, but it is Stellaris, and it does discuss a lot of things about Stellaris, but not just Stellaris, but just gaming in general. I also mention and talk about quite a bit of problems that are happening in the gaming world right now. Like, for example, there's a lot of games out there that when you know, they're priced $70, but they only have like 10 hours of playtime. Now, I share in the video a special formula I have to like help me. It helps me. It's not perfect. It's not completely 100% accurate, but it does help me determine the worth of a game, like in dollar value, pretty much. And it's pretty accurate. And it actually didn't come from me. It came from someone's comment I read a long time ago. I can't pull it up. Believe me, if I could have, I would have, and it would be in my video, but it's not going to be because I couldn't find the footage. So, but I saw a comment a long time, you know, several years ago, actually, and I think it actually was on my channel. I can't remember it very clearly, but I'm almost certain that it was either on my channel or I saw it on Steam at least. But I remember somebody commenting, and they said that basically when they evaluate games, when they evaluate their games based on their worth, they take the price of the game that they paid, and then they subtract how many play hours, much playtime they've had in hours. So, for example, and to point back to the problem I'm talking about, some games, and then the result, of course, is the dollar amount in worth that the game is. I can't believe I walked here. Okay, but so some games right now that have been released by a AAA company, they cost $70, right? But you only get like maybe 10 or 15 hours of playtime. So if you do the math, if you follow that equation, you just wasted $55. Like, it's $55, you know? So that's one way of evaluating. Now, there's many other ways to evaluate games too. Like for example, you can't really apply that formula to Doom Eternal, for example, or Doom 2016, because the quality of those hours is so high. You have so much fun that, like, it's still worth it. Just the memory alone of playing a game that good is worth it to me, you know? So there are exceptions, but that's the general rule of thumb I use to, like, gauge, okay, how valuable was this game for me? For example, and it's also subjective, right? So somebody, a game that I only put 3 hours into and have no desire to put any more into, somebody might, you know, play it over and over and over again. They might have 1,000 hours in for whatever reason. You know, for example, you know, Cyberpunk 2077. Okay, I did not like that game, especially on launch. I thought it was going to be great. I was on the hype train. I was. And I think this is one of the last times I ever got on the hype train for any game and got my hopes up for any AAA title. Is because, like, when I spawned in, like, I got visual disturbances, graphical glitches. Like, it was a buggy mess. It was unplayable. I was like, dude, I can't play this. So I tried to refund, and they wouldn't let me refund. I'm like, why? I can't play it, you know? So that was a huge slap in the face. And then, now they did patch that away. I get that. But the bad taste is still there, and the memory is still there. And so, you know, the resentment is still there. So, like, but even after that, I actually got to play the game a little. I said, okay, you know, I'll see how far I can get and everything. And eventually I just lost interest. I'm just like, you know, this isn't the game that I was hoping that it would be. Because there were other things about the game, and I'm not going to make this stream about that game. I'm just telling you, like, for me, that game was a dud. That game was a stinker for me. Okay? And it actually was a stinker for a lot of people. You know, I think that element obviously has improved. I checked the reviews recently, and they're very positive. Okay, so maybe they made a lot of updates that were really good. You know, I know No Man's Sky pulled off something like that. You know, but it doesn't matter. The damage is done. For me, the damage is done, and I think that's my right to you know, have that viewpoint, right? Like, you know, I don't have to give a game another chance. And like, so, but anyway, so I paid $59 for the game, but I only had 3 hours in it. So yeah, I felt like I got ripped off with that, and I couldn't refund it. You know, I still don't know why they didn't let me do that, but I think it's because so many people were trying to refund that, like, Steam was trying to put a stop to it or something. Because, you know, obviously the hype train for that video game was very real. Okay, so we're about to fight the boss. Actually, no, we're not. I am getting ahead of myself. We had a lot of money. I was going to try and enchant all my gear before I took off, so I wouldn't die, because he does a lot of damage. So here, but yeah, anyway, so some of the ideas, right? And then, you know, I briefly, you know, mentioned other games too, like, you know, like another concept in this video is basically, so one of the questions is basically value for playtime, right? Perceived value of the game. But also there's other questions you got to ask too. Like, one of them is how much replayability, right? So there's games where I don't need to talk to you. So, like Terraria, we're gonna try to enchant this. Hopefully we get armor on the first try, but sometimes it is a pain in the butt and costs a lot of resources, and you can get screwed. So, we don't want to run out of coins completely. Okay, we got armor for that, so that one's good. Now we're gonna try to get armor on this one. Okay, that's 10 health. Man, 500 coins. That is atrocious. Try again. Try again. Oh, man. All right, we got 4,000. Come on, let's do it. Come on, keep going. Come on, come on. Come on. I think. Okay. Well, the trick is, you gotta watch your coins. Don't go too low. Like, we're at 1,000, so I don't really want to go below that. It's basically gambling. You're gambling for better stats. So, permanent stats. So, you want to make sure that, and that's the reason you don't want to use up all your money, because if you, say I kept going, tried to keep going till I had 4 armor, I could end up on a negative attribute, and then I'm stuck with that attribute. I can't undo it. You know, I need to get more coins. So you don't want to be stuck with a negative attribute. So we have 4 speed in this case. So I guess we'll just stick with that for now. I think I'm still going to fight the boss here. I just wanted to see if I could get lucky, but it looks like I didn't. Looks like it was being stubborn, so we're just going to go back, make the trip again. Yeah, so replay value of the game. Like, what is the game's replay value? You know, is it one of those games where, like, you know, Doom, for example, where, like, you could play the campaign over and over again, but usually it's kind of one of those things that, like, once you're done with it, you're done with it. You know what I mean? You don't really come back to it for a long time. Like, so, you know, I mean, it does have multiplayer, but, like, you know, we all know about the multiplayer. It's not good. It's something for people to do, but, like, you know, so replay value, right? As opposed to, say, Minecraft, that I've been playing for 10 freaking years, I'd say has a lot of replayability. You know, or 7 Days to Die, that I have 5,000 hours in. I mean, apply the value to that. I mean, I can't hate the devs. I can only hate the devs so much. Like, they've given me so much playtime, like, with that game. No. Now, some might think that's sad, and, you know, there have been times in my life where I thought video games were bad, and, you know, I don't want to get into that discussion, but I may someday, because I've heard some things lately that kind of irritate me a little bit. Sure, fuck it, I'll talk about it. Like, I've seen a couple videos pop up in my feed where it's like, you're a loser if you play video games. I'm like, really, dude? Really? You want to go there? I don't think so, man. Like, that's just me, though. Like, then again, I know some people. I've met quite a few people in my life where they just don't play video games. They don't see the value in it. They don't understand it. They are just, you know, plugged into the natural world. And, okay, I respect that. That's cool. You can get a lot done, but, like, you know, I think the virtual world can be just as interesting as the real one. So, that's just how I feel. Alright. But anyway. So, now this boss in particular, you just start hitting him. Now, obviously, let's see, I got a potion pouch. I'm gonna just use it. So, because I have an armor potion in there as well. And so, okay, we need to zoom all the way out for this guy. Then we need to close that. All right, here we go. Hopefully, we don't die. The void, the blood bolt is pretty effective against this guy, to be honest. Honestly, especially with the melee guy in his face, unless he gets killed, which it doesn't look like he's taking hardly any damage. It really looks like we're tooling this guy, dude. Like, yeah. It's not looking good for this boss. Sure. I know I'm making this look easy, but that's because I have a lot of experience. I know how the game works and everything. I know what works, what weapons work against this guy. But this guy can be really tough if you're trying to go it alone for one, and you try to do melee. Melee is really hard with this guy. You don't really want to do melee with this guy, which is sad. I mean, unless you're using boomerangs, that might work, but I don't really use boomerangs, so I don't have a lot of experience with that. See, we killed him pretty easily, so. But the last time I fought him, I got killed because I was trying to use a glaive. I was trying to be melee like this guy. But you need that range with this dude if you're gonna solo him. So I got the Novice Void Staff. That looks cool. Let's try it. Interesting. It doesn't have very long range. I think it sucks. Okay. So, kind of like in Terraria 2, you get these perma items that permanently increase your stats. Like this one increases trinkets to 5. Definitely want to use that. So we get travel scrolls. Now, a lot of cool things happen when you kill the Void Wizard. One of the biggest things that happens is you get animal keepers. You can now recruit animal keepers to your settlement, and they will take care of animal shearing and milking for you, so you can get the amazing food and you can start making lots of beds to make an even bigger colony, an even bigger settlement. So it's really going to help our settlement size and just catapult our food production. We're going to start being able to make the really good food now. So we got some beds here. I can't pick it up. Okay, never mind. Well, we killed him, and we've cleared this dungeon, so we're just gonna recall back. But anyway, how'd that boss fight go for you guys? Like, pretty cool, huh? So, yeah. So that's one of the bosses. In the quest chain, he's like the 4th boss or he's like the 3rd boss that you. So you fight a boss called Evil's Protector. It's this big batwing dude. I don't know if you call him a dude, but he spits fireballs and stuff. He's pretty easy. He's the first boss. Easy. You fight him at night, kind of like Cthulhu and Terraria. But like, you know, this guy, but yeah, then the second boss is the Queen Spider. You find her in the ice biome. So you go there next. And so we just downed the 3rd boss. The next one, I believe, is, I want to say, yeah, it looks like it is the swamp. Looks like we're fighting the swamp boss next, the swamp monster. So the swamp is interesting. It's actually, I actually think it's going to get me better stats and better gear in the swamp, because there's actually a magic set that comes from the swamp. Yeah, this is definitely like Terraria. Like, I mean, honestly, if you were to compare it to any game, like, that would be the one. But it is so much more. It is really, like, it's got elements from Terraria, RimWorld. There's also automation. There's automation in this game, so if you like automation in games, this is, you know, you're gonna like this. So it's really unique. It does get set itself apart from Terraria. They definitely are not the same games, even though they look and kind of feel the same. And I think the reason why it feels so similar to Terraria is because it's a conquest game. Because there are similar weapons and weapon types. And I mean, you can just tell that it got a lot of its inspiration from Terraria, absolutely. So I absolutely agree with you. Let's see. So Void Pouch. Okay, so this is like extra inventory. That's great. I like that. So that's good as well. I forgot exactly what's cool about the Void Pouch, but like, yeah, we'll just keep it in our inventory. We're definitely going to lock these travel scrolls. our inventory as well. At some point, we're going to stop using the recall scroll and start using the travel scroll. Well, actually, no, we'll still use the recall scroll, but like, so I want to know what's going down here. What's taking damage? Are you a guard? What are you doing? I think he's a guard. Okay. As long as he's not dying. We don't want settlers dying. That's bad. So, what do we do next? Well, let's look at our food. Okay, well, we need to immediately start making pens. We need to corral animals, and we need to recruit the animal keeper. What are we doing on time? So we got an hour, right? So let me talk about... Now, I bet we have a shitload of wood to work with for making... We absolutely do. So we're gonna make like 300 wood fences, and then we're gonna make I'll make some wood gates, and that'll be good for that. That's where we're gonna start, and we're gonna go ahead and corral the animals. Now, I don't really need an adventure group right now. Just clear orders and have them go back to defending the base and helping out with hauling and stuff. They gotta haul and craft things and whatnot. Well, they can't craft anything, they can just haul. So obviously, I think we should definitely have the animals probably like right here. I need to... So it's just like Minecraft, you chop down trees, and you get wood, and dig, and shovel, and whatnot. So, after we get the animal pens done, and we get the animal keepers recruited, we are definitely going to go to the swamp, if the stream doesn't end by then. So, I want to have a big enough pen to really just kind of, you know, grow. So about my video, I wanted to, so that's kind of, yeah, so replay value is the next metric I could use to consider whether a game is worth it or not. And, you know, so if I can tell that, like, yeah, I'm going to be able, if I get into this game, I'm going to be able to play it a lot, like, way more than, you know, I can play it over and over again and never get bored. That is something definitely valuable. So if you can determine that in some way, you know, or you know, you can tell that that's definitely probably going to happen, then that increases the value of the game in my opinion. So another question I asked myself, and this is actually somewhat controversial and a big one, and I had to talk about some controversial, slightly controversial things. Slightly dramatic things when mentioning this question is, are the devs doing a good job? Plain and simple. Are the devs behaving? What is their behavior like? So, you know, and for you Stellaris fans, I'll just say it right now. As far as like AAA or almost AAA, I guess you could call maybe Paradox AA publisher or developer. I think overall they have done a fantastic job. Overall. Now, yeah, am I saying that they're perfect? Absolutely not. Am I saying I'm not pissed at them about some things? You know, at times? No, absolutely. They do piss me off sometimes. But you know what? They have made a beautiful game. and they keep updating it. They're dedicated. They care about what their players think. They try, and they moderately, I think they overall, yeah, their DLC is a little expensive. I would price it a little lower if I was to be honest, but it's not too overpriced. It's not egregious, you know? Like, they're not like asking you for the full price of the game. And so I think overall, especially since they still have not engaged in the kind of scummy business practices that I see a lot of other game developers, partaking in nowadays. That really concern me. So, not gonna get into what all those are, but like, and get into that drama. But like, you can read between the lines. You know what I'm saying, right? There's some really bad shit going on right now in the game world, and like, that's kind of why I've all but completely withdrawn from AAA games, even though I am going to play Space Marine 2 in the next couple days, so stick around for that. I might actually play that at night, or in the morning, we'll see, and still do the Stellaris show. In fact, that's probably is what I'm going to do, now that I think about it. But yeah, like, Space Marine 2 is an anomaly because, I'm a Space Marine 1 fan, and I'm a Warhammer 40k fanboy. So, like, I'm a lore junkie. So I am gonna play that game no matter what. Like, I'm gonna give it a chance. And and also there's a lot of gameplay footage documented, and it looks good. And I've seen people streaming it as we speak, and it looks good. But like, and the other thing too, and I could use developers of that game for an example, right? The last game we played from them was fucking amazing. Hate to use the F word, but I'll use the F-bomb there. It was amazing. I love Space Marine. I loved that game originally. So yeah, I'm gonna give them my money again. Yeah, they're doing the whole season pass thing, but so is every flippin' AAA game. Don't even get me started on that. But I'll ignore it. I'll ignore it because of the footage that I saw and the streams I saw. I'll ignore it for this one. I will give it a try. And actually, Space Marine was also another one of those. It was similar to Doom 2016 for me, where I got so much value from the playtime that I did get that it really didn't bother me that the playtime wasn't that much. And I'm hoping that Space Marine 2 is going to be the same way. They say the campaign's really short, but I think, like, I'm hoping that I will get so much fun from that playtime that it won't bother me. But, hopes, right? And then hopes get dashed, but we'll see. But anyway, conversely, and we're going to talk about Blizzard here. We're going to talk about WoW. Because, like, talk about a bad track record, right? Talk about going in are the devs behaving, right? I think Blizzard Entertainment has fallen so far of the mark. I think they've just and this may be the first time I've actually publicly said it, but they are so egregious right now with the stuff they're doing between Overwatch and Diablo and World of Warcraft and World of Warcraft Classic. I just can't support that video game company anymore. I cannot give them my money. So I don't even care how good people say the game is. Like, somebody could come on my stream tomorrow and be like, dude, I just, they're coming out with this new Overwatch game. They said there's not going to be microtransactions or anything like that. And it's just like, nah, dude, I'm done. I'm done. Like, I vote with my wallet, right? So that's kind of the other part of this is like, are the devs doing a good job? Do you believe in the devs? If you believe in the devs, the thing of it is, everybody needs to eat, right? Everybody needs to make money. Everybody's got to support themselves, including developer. So if a developer, just like, and I say this in my video, just like a waitress or any kind of, you know, service where you tip, you know, grab driver, whatever, like if they do a good job, which they didn't have to do, I mean, that you'd be more inclined to give them, you know, pay them more necessarily, right? Not always, but like, you know, if you're able to, you know, it's just like your favorite creator on YouTube or whatever, not trying to give you guys hints or anything, but you know, like, nah, if, and someday I will do a good enough job to where, yeah, and I already do. I'm getting ad revenue, I'm getting views, I'm getting exposure, I am getting paid. Not a lot, but I'm getting paid to do this. Like, you know, so you guys are giving me your views and your time, and it does translate to a little bit of money. And maybe someday I'll be good enough to where you guys will, you know, you'll want to support me further. And that's okay. And like I said, but this isn't, I'm not doing a pitch here. Just, you know, I'm just giving an example, right? Let's say another creator, right? Like, so say you go to Asmongold's channel all the time, and some other streamer. Not that I have an opinion about Asmongold or anything, or like him or hate him, but that's not the point. But like, you know, your favorite streamer, you're gonna be, if they're doing a really good job, you're gonna want to, you know, you're gonna at least think about, should I tip them? No, I don't have any money this month. I mean, that's fine, but just the fact that you thought about it, right? And so that's what you need to think about too. Is this developer worth supporting? Sometimes I buy content or games or DLC just because I like the developer. I like what they're doing. In fact, I don't know if I put this example in my video. Hold on, I need to focus. Well, so we're gonna rope these sheep. Okay, I have to right click. So we're gonna grab sheep here with, we have this spot. But basically, like Baldur's Gate 3 is a perfect example of like, okay, I really like what these developers are doing. So I'm gonna buy their game, even though I don't normally do CRPGs. You know, I'm not usually in that space. I'm gonna go ahead and get this game and you know, give them my money, because I think they're doing a good job. And it does look like I'm gonna get some decent fun from this game. So that was, yeah, that was the reason why I got Baldur's Gate 3 at all. If there was no press about it or anything, if there wasn't any you know, if they had it, if it wasn't anything special, you know, I probably wouldn't have gotten the game, to be honest. Come on. Okay. It's been a while since I did this. Went for a little bit without playing this. Come on, dude. But yeah, Baldur's Gate 3, that's a perfect example of like a time where like I normally wouldn't have gotten the game or paid for content, but I like the developer so much that I wanted to give them my money somehow, so that's how I did it. There's another game, I'm not gonna name it, but like that I bought simply to stick it to the man. I don't know how else to say it. You know, I got it simply to just, you know, to support them. I wasn't even that interested in the game, to be honest. But it was just like, you know, I want, like I say, vote with your wallet, right? So if you don't like something that companies are doing, stop paying for it. Do what you can to stop paying for it. Boycott it. You know? That's the only way these companies are going to learn. And I'm not just talking video game companies. I'm talking about like companies in the world, right? Companies in general. There's a lot of companies out there that just they do not care about their customers, and they're getting away with it because they keep getting their customers money. You know, people keep giving them money because like they have to. So if you can if you have an opportunity to, you know, give your money away to a good developer, that's something I think, for me personally, that's what I like to do. You know, it's kind of like, because a lot of developers right now, a lot of them, they get confused, right? Or you know, they don't believe that, like, you know, they get told that, like, oh well, you know, this is how we do things or whatever, like, or that players will just put up with it, right? You know, so I don't know where I was going with that. Like I said, I don't want to get like political or anything, or like really just, you know, or go into any kind of territory that would put my channel in jeopardy. But like, I mean, it's yeah. Okay, so I got to take it out of my. Yeah, and we're just gonna keep throwing the sheep and cows and the hens. I actually want to zoom out for this, so I can see the animals better. You know, I am really digging this new music that I got from the creator, music library. I just kind of threw it together in an album, quick album, and just putting it on repeat. It's pretty good. I found quite a bit of good songs. It actually seems to fit good with a lot of the games that I play. Oh, by the way, guys, I gotta stop for a second. I have food I gotta get real quick. I just realized that I've been neglecting it. I'll be right. Okay, I will eat the rest of that later. I will look on time. Yeah, about an hour and a half. We'll see. Anyway, I'm back. Please make sure I didn't get any chat, so it's gone. Okay. So yeah, really important when you start this game, you don't want to you don't want to kill any of, you want to try not to kill any of the animals on your starting islands. Because it's more difficult to get them on from other islands when you grab the ones that are on the island. This, start breeding them, which is what we're gonna do with the animal keeper. The animal keeper will automatically breed them. We'll have a trough and everything. Now, what I realize is that we should have actually gotten these animals together and gotten a trough for them a while ago. But like I said, it's been a bit since I played this game, so you live and you learn. So yeah. Anyway, to wrap it up, and I'm gonna stop talking about my video for now. Yeah, I just, because I've heard over the years that, you know, people either, you know, like a lot of, you know, the DLC, the thing of it is, a lot of people, they don't get the DLC, and I think it's kind of sad. I think, not that they're sad, you know, I'm not criticizing them, but like, I think like a lot of people, they don't get the DLC because they, you know, they may not see the worth in it. Like when I first started, I didn't get DLC for a long time because I looked at the list of features and like I mistakenly thought that there wasn't really anything to it. And now there's a couple DLCs they came out with, Necesse, that really don't have a lot of features to, you know, to keep you playing. And like, but for the most part, a lot of the DLCs, in fact, I didn't point it out in my video, but like there's some DLCs where you look at the list and the features, there's some features in that DLC that they didn't even put on the list for some reason. I don't know why Paradox did that. Poor marketing on their part, because they should have put those features down as on that list. You know, why wouldn't they? So that's another thing I saw. Like the list of features, looking in that and going, oh well, there's not a lot here. That means there's not that much content. That's very deceptive, right? It's easy to think that way, but I think in the case of Stellaris, that's actually not true. A lot of the DLC, some of it, sometimes it's true, but most of the time, especially with the expansions, you're actually getting a lot more playtime than you realize. Or I did anyway. I didn't get DLC for a long time because of that, and then I got Utopia. But it wasn't just Utopia. Like most of the expansions I've gotten, you know, they have a short list, but when you actually go and play them, you find yourself spending like hours and hours and hours just replaying the different playstyles that it brings to the table and the different origins, and just like the content that it provides is so high quality and so replayable that like it really kind of pays for itself, like value-wise, in my opinion. So, and Utopia definitely, I think everybody can agree, is one of those DLCs at the very least. Utopia was like that, where it may not have looked extensive, but then when you got it and played, you're like, wow, this does so many amazing things for this game that like, yeah, I could not play Stellaris without this DLC. Absolutely. Like, you know, that's how I felt after playing Utopia. I'm like, dude, I can't go back to like normal Stellaris. Like, so I think if it does that, then it's definitely worth a buy for sure. Um, you know, even at like 20 bucks, I think it's actually worth that much, honestly, if you can afford it. I mean, and that's the other thing too. And if you can't afford it, you know, obviously that doesn't mean anything bad. You know, you can't afford it. That's okay. You know, now the DLC does go on sale, right? And so I didn't really talk about that. I didn't really have time. But like, yeah, you can always, if you're on the fence about DLC right now, watch my video and then, you know, try to get it. If you decide that you want it enough, like, get it when it's on sale. In fact, it is on sale right now. Not shilling for Paradox. They didn't sponsor me or anything. But I just got done looking because I'm, you know, getting footage for my video. I just got done looking at their price list for all their DLC, and a lot of them are half off. A lot of them are like 10 bucks. The stuff that used to be 20 bucks is like 10 bucks. They're like, yeah, it's a pretty good sale going on right now. Sadly, Machine Age isn't on sale yet. Just to answer the question preemptively, like, what do I think about how they price Machine Age? It was a little steep, I'll admit. I mean, 24 bucks is, you know, different. And obviously, you know, we want it to be lower, but the thing of it is, times are changing, right? Shit's getting dark. You know, shit's getting grimdark in this world. So, you know, like, you gotta, you know, so, like, do I completely agree with the price increase? Of course not. It'd be great if it was cheaper, but I do understand it. I do understand where Paradox is coming from. And also, not to mention, at the end of the day, the content they added, I felt, was really good. Like, absolutely amazing. Like, and I'm not just being a fanboy here. Like, I'm like, it genuinely was. Like, you know what? I didn't even like the soundtrack at first, but it grew on me. I've come to like it. I actually do like the soundtrack. Even the soundtrack was good for me. And like, I want to keep saving money for a new laptop because the current one sucks really bad. Yeah, I mean, like I say, you got priorities, right? If you can't afford the DLC, you can't afford it. That's okay. Keep playing the base game. Absolutely, keep playing the base game. But like, you know, if you get, you know, and you can always save your money too, like a buck here or buck there, or whatever. It just depends on how important it is to you, right? So, like for me, I love Stellaris, but I get bored of the base game. I do. So, you know, I'll get a new DLC just to spice things up, right? You know, just to add some more playtime, and like, and that's kind of the thing, really. You know, it, and like I said, as long as Paradox, you know, and I'll share my official position even before I've shared the video. Like, as long as Paradox continues somewhat honest business practice, you know, they're not doing the shit that these AAA developers are doing. You know, they're like, the price, the content, most of their content does equal or exceed the price's value, you know, with the equation, right? Some don't, you know, I could list a couple, but some don't, you know, but a lot of them do. And a lot of them, they change the game in a fundamental way, in a positive way, and they add a lot of playtime. They add a lot of replayability. They add a lot of different play styles, you know, different ways to play the game, things you never thought of doing. You know, you do it like, I was never a tech rusher, for example, but then I got my hands on Machine Age and I started doing synthetic fertility. And, you know, obviously you saw my synthetic fertility video. I really got into that. That's like honestly one of my favorite origins now, because it kind of broke me out of my shell with the whole technology thing. So yeah, that's a perfect example of, like, you know, of how DLC can really, like, spice things up. You know, it, and you know, the value of DLC goes beyond just, you know, how many, the exact number of features that there are, you know. So yeah, but some of this is hard to gauge sometimes, right? Like, so it can be difficult if you haven't bought the game and you haven't bought the DLC to really determine, okay, how much playtime could, it's more like how much could I get from that, see myself getting, you know. But you never know exactly how much you're going to get or how things are going to play out. So yeah, it's always a small risk when you buy content that you haven't previously played, and most of the time you're not in a position where you can play it before you see it, you know, witness it. But then that's where the refund option comes in, right? So if Paradox really screwed up, right, you know, you really just did not like their content, you can always refund. And in fact, I would, like I said, vote with your wallet, right? If Paradox did a bad thing, like I said, I am not, like I said, I'm not sponsored by Paradox. I'm not like some YouTubers that are, not taking shots at them, but like, I'm not sponsored by Paradox. So like, you do you. Like, if you think Paradox is screwing up, don't buy their games. Don't buy their DLC. You know, like, and I've heard some reviews, right? I've heard in the reviews and comments sometimes that, you know, there are people that are just done with what they're doing lately. I don't think it's nothing that upsets me, but, you know, like I said, everyone's different, you know? So that's kind of the other part of this too. When I made my video, I tried to be as impartial as possible and tried to, like, cover all viewpoints. Not just, you know, oh yeah, I have so much DLC, I think it's great, you should get it, and just do that right out the gate. Like, no, I do acknowledge that, like, the price is definitely an issue. Honestly, it's a big sticking point. It is. It was for me at one time. So I acknowledge that, right? I acknowledge, I wanted to acknowledge everybody's viewpoints on the subject. Like, I wanted to address it, you know, and I don't think any of them are wrong. I think, really, you know, there's some people, and I used to be one of these people, that, like, we kind of, where I drew a line in the sand with just further monetization of a game, like, other than, like, if it wasn't an expansion, if there wasn't a whole crap load of content from what I was paying for, like a whole blown, if it wasn't a full blown expansion, like, I thought that it shouldn't be there, like, it shouldn't exist, like, they shouldn't be doing it. I have since changed my view of that. I could go into why later, but I used to think that way, and there's a lot of people that still do that. Like, okay, you know, it should just be, if you want more money, you should make a new game, you know, or an expansion, right? You should greatly expand on the game you already have, right? So that I understand that. I do understand that viewpoint. I don't believe in that anymore. But, like, that, you know, that's how I felt for a long time. You know, so I do respect it. And also, but I also respect the viewpoint of, you know, that they cost too much. Absolutely. I can see that. $20 is a little steep. And the other problem I do have with how Paradox prices their DLC is, you know, like, yeah, I mean, there's some DLC that's been around for years that they're still pricing at $20, and I think that's kind of, yeah, that's a little, you know, not doing a good thing there. But, like, they're trying to make money, right? It's a business, but they're not. I don't believe they're putting the business so far in front of their player base to warrant saying, oh, because of this, I'm not going to buy any more Paradox. I don't really feel that way. You know, I think they're doing plenty right versus versus the small things that they're doing wrong. I mean, so that's kind of how I feel about that. You know, that issue. I don't think they're wrong. I don't think people that think it's overpriced, obviously, you know, everybody's got different monetary amounts. In fact, I'm kind of strapped for cash lately, to be honest. And, you know, and I'm not saying that, I'm not shilling, I'm not begging. I'm just saying, you know, I got pretty low last month. It was my fault. I take full responsibility, you know. But yeah, it is what it is. So I could see somebody in that situation, you know, not buying any games, not buying DLC. Like, it just, everybody's situation is different. So I respect that. And like, I don't think anybody should buy DLC who's not ready or doesn't have the funds to do so, right? Because you got to eat, right? We all got to eat. But so do the devs. So that's kind of the other side of it. I've met people where they have all the DLC and they happily do it because they like what Paradox is doing, you know. Now, for the record, I may have mistakenly said in the video that I have all the DLC. If I did, that's not true necessarily. I don't technically have all the DLC. Honestly, I don't think a lot of people, except maybe Monty, has all the DLC, but that's kind of his channel. He has to keep up with all of the DLC. That's kind of his format. So, but like, for me, but I have most of the relevant DLC, like the really relevant stuff. Like I have all the expansion, you know, from Nemesis to Utopia. I have all those. Megacorp, Overlord. I have all the major expansions. I even have a couple species packs. I've got humanoids, and you know, I have Synthetic Dawn. Synthetic Dawn is another one of those a DLC that, like, I honestly think was done extremely well. Was actually done extremely well for the price. No, unless you hate robots, then maybe you'll hate it, but I highly doubt it. Like, yeah, Synthetic Dawn is absolutely, it really, and I think it's the best non-expansion content by far. It is the best. If you're looking for just something, I think, how much is it? Like, I want to say it's $10 now. Well, just about everything $10 now, but like, I think Synthetic Dawn especially, yeah, I know it's cheaper than your average expansion. That's for sure. Okay, I need to sleep in a bed because zombies are being annoying. Sorry guys, I'm only doing this half-ass. I really, what I usually do is I systematically just, like, I get like 5 ropes and I don't come back until all the ropes are used. So I'm not being very efficient about this. I apologize because I'm busy talking about the video. Like, yeah, so. And I could load up the video tomorrow and it'll be dead on arrival, just like many of the other things I've tried lately that really have not panned out very much, or at least right now. I'm still gonna keep going. So, tomorrow, right after I upload the video, my plan is to immediately go into the next one. Now, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna cover the video after this one? That's actually what I want to know. I just now am starting to think about it. I think, I could do another guide. I could put, well, what I was thinking about doing is making a guide in the same spirit format, in the same format that this video is going to be. Which honestly, I didn't really make this video I'm making because of the topic so much as because of the format. I wanted to, it was something I wanted to try this format that I'm yeah, I wanted to try this format, and this video is my way of doing that. I mean, obviously, I want the video to be good, and I want it to get, I want people to like it, but, like, but what I would like to do is take the format I use with this video that I'm making and use it to make guides and many other, just basically all my content, basically. The other thing I want to do, so I think I'm done trying to re-upload my, edit and re-upload my live streams. That's not really working, at least not right now. So until it starts working, I'm gonna back off of it. But what I think I will do, regardless, I think I am going to manually make shorts from my long form content. So, for example, after this stream, I may make some shorts about Necesse from this stream. Things like, okay, how to get cows, or like how to put cows in a pen, how to build a pen, or whatever. For example, like what I'm doing right now. What stage of the game do you get windmills? Just things like that. If it was in the in the live stream. So I'll watch the live stream again and be like, okay, that'll make a good video. So then I clip that out. So I won't be using the editor anymore to make my shorts. I'll be using I'll be doing it by hand. Which will take longer and more effort, but the shorts will be much higher quality. I think they'll last a lot longer. And that's really what I want. I mean, for crying out loud, my best performing video or piece of content I've ever made is a short. It's that battleship short. It is still getting me, after like 2 years, it's still getting me 200 views a day, or every 48 hours. Which is ridiculous. For me, that's ridiculous. It's got 70,000 views. It's got more views than anything I've ever put out. And I think that's amazing. I don't know why you guys like that short so much, but you guys definitely do. So, I mean, that's great. But I just wish I knew exactly, like, what about it is giving it so much love in the algorithm. Like, that's kind of, I mean, I have my theories. Like, obviously, everybody loves battleships, right? So that's the first thing. Battleships are really popular. That's a really popular hull type. Okay? It's pretty much the most powerful. And it's been for a long time. It briefly lost its status when there was a lot of confusion about the new fleet changes. But I think now it's gotten to a point to where people realize, like I said in my ship design video, mono-hauling battleships is still good. It's still king, honestly. Especially if you have the X-Slot weapon. So, so I think that's one factor of it. The other factor, I think, is, like, it's, most of my videos have been shortened to the point. But I think really, like, just, the design that I proposed is still is absolutely viable if you do it right now. I propose carriers, so I think I actually am going to do another battleship short, possibly. But I think that design will still work in some circumstances, especially in PvP. I think honestly that design actually might still really be good for PvP. I mean, so there is that. I think it's a popular design for that matter. And I think maybe I edited it. It was one of my better edits, I think. But it wasn't my best. I don't think it was my best. I really don't. Honestly, like, yeah, as well as the battleship video or short has done, Like, I don't think it's my best work. I really don't. Which is probably surprises the hell out of you guys, maybe. But, like, I'm telling you, like, that's how YouTube is, man. Like, you'll put your heart and soul into something, and it'll do absolutely nothing. But then a video that, like, you not so much half-assed, but, like, did not put that much effort into, or you didn't feel like you really gave it 100% of your effort, like, it'll blow up out of nowhere. It'll blow up. You never know. Like, or it'll do extremely well. It'll be your best performing video that you ever made, you know. Benru, my videos are dead on arrival. You know, I probably could. You know what, man? You've been loyal for a long time. I think, and been a regular for a while. I might actually take a look at your channel. Maybe if you want, I could give you some feedback the next time I talk to you. I could look at a couple of your videos and maybe if you want some feedback, I could give it to you. Like, honestly, you know, the tough thing is, like, you have to, like, bridge the gap between something you're interested in and what the audience or your target audience is interested in. And one of the strengths of my channel, especially, like, with my guides, they usually aren't dead on arrival, or at least not for long, because they get the search algorithm. So I'll take a look. If you want, I can take a look at your titles and browse some of your videos and tell you what I find, if you're interested in that. And I can remember to do it. No promises, but, like, I think, honestly, dude, I'd like to help you. Like, I have that desire. Yeah, I mean, you know, thanks for being honest about that, but, like, you know, like I said, you know, it's up to you. Just let me know if you want me to do that. You know, ball's in your court on that one. But, like, if you're willing, but if you're not, then that's okay too, man. Like, and as far as the lazy thing goes, I'm lazy too, dude. I am. I play video games far more than I actually make content sometimes, I think. So, like, I think it's kind of, you know, it's more about, like, as long as you get the work done, it really doesn't matter how you get it done, right? So that's the beautiful thing about making videos, is they're like an investment, right? Like, once you make that video and it's out in the world and it starts producing, like, it'll keep producing. So there are times where you can coast and be like, you know what? I'm just going to take a break. You know, you're your own boss, right? I can just take a break. I can be lazy, right? You know, like, I just took 3 days off because I was hurt, right? For, you know, various reasons. I already discussed it. But, like, you know. But yeah, just, you gotta, I think for the laziness problem, just pace yourself, bro. That's what I recommend. That's what I had to do for a long time. Now, we just got a raid. Break. We just got a raid announcement. So what's going to happen here? Now, they haven't appeared yet, but there is going to be raiders that appear on the side of our map. They're going to appear in a minute. You're going to see them pop up on the edges of the map. Little settler looking portraits, but they're not settlers. They're raiders. And they're going to pop up, and they're going to prepare for a little bit, and then they're going to attack. So they will bust down your doors. I think. Okay, there they are right here. Those are raiders. So we need to go. They're on the west. So what we do We get on the western side of our base. This is usually pretty easy until later level. And then we go to our settlement tab, open settlement. We go to command. We do select all settlers and we want to click follow me. Okay? That's absolutely what you want to do. You want to click follow me. This works every time. It's never not worked. Every once in a while I do lose somebody, but hardly ever. So you get in this death ball, and then, you know, especially when you have your guards with you, you know, your adventurers that have all that great gear. Now, we could have been making some more gear for our guys, but I just, you know, I've been focused on animals. So now they're going to warn you about 3 or 4 times that they're preparing, and then when they say that they're attacking, that is when you need to be ready. That is when you need to have these guys together. That's when they're actually going to attack you. Because right now they're just sitting here chilling. Now they're attacking. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna the map. So they're coming right here. So you're about to see some action. Yeah. Now we're getting them on the shore. So I got Blood Bolt, so it heat seeks, so these guys are getting really jacked up. We're really messing these guys up. I need to get something heavier. Now, I think these guys have armor. The raiders, they do get more and more advanced as you go along. They do get harder and harder to kill. So, yeah. I mean, I am going to have to upgrade their gear. But we did get them. We got them, and we didn't lose anybody. So, the raid's a success. If they get defeated and you don't lose anybody, that's the important thing. So after that, once it says Raiders defeated, you can safely go open your settlement and go clear all orders, and they will go back to whatever the hell they were doing. So that's how you do a raid. It's really that simple. Now, your job is to keep up on the gear, you know, keep up on their gear. Make sure you're arming your settlers. You want to mass produce, ideally, weapons and armor if you can, and equip as many guys with that high-class armor, whether it be quartz or frost or whatever the best armor for you at the time is. On all your guards, you want all your guards to be armored and have the best gear, and anybody else you can think of. So, and that should get you, you know, that should allow you to survive raids. So, let's see, like got a lot of things. There's editing. I feel like, well, so comparison. You got to be careful with comparison, right? Because it's just going to, in the end, it's just going to make you feel bad. However, it is useful. It can be useful to compare, but you need to do it in moderation, right? So, I wouldn't look at like a channel like mine. Like, I don't know how many subscribers you have, but like maybe, let's say you have 100, right? I wouldn't look at a channel like mine and be like, oh, well, my channel's shit because he has 3,000 and I only have 100. I wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? Yeah, 25 subs. Hey, you're getting subs though, right? Some people have 0. So you gotta look at it that way too, man. Like, it's a growing, learning experience. And you gotta remember, every one of those YouTubers that you're comparing yourself to, they started out at ground 0 too. Alright? So, like, there is no way in hell that overnight I'm going to get content as good as somebody with 1 million subscribers. But that doesn't mean that's because I'm a bad person or a failure. It just means I have more things to learn. It's that simple. You know? That's all. That's the only thing you should let comparison do to you, is remind you that you have more to learn. It's kind of like that saying that, you know, guys that get into fights or, you know, fight a lot, you know, you may hear one of them say sometime that no matter how tough you think you are, there's always a guy that can beat you and that will beat you. You know, there's always a guy out there that can beat you. You know, that's kind of the same principle. Like, you know, there's always room to grow and to improve, and so you really shouldn't, like, but absolutely don't beat yourself up about it. Absolutely. Like, if you want my unsolicited advice. Wow, we got an animal keeper. We didn't even have to go to a village for it. Amazing. This is amazing. And we have enough money for it. So we just got an animal keeper, guys. And that happens. Sometimes they'll just come to your village and, you know, be available for recruitment. You don't have to go out and find villages necessarily. Though you can't do that, and that is faster. But once in a while that happens. So that was very fortunate. So now we can go to the settlement tab. Now I think we're going to need to build a room for him. Absolutely. And make it good so that he actually works. So definitely on his work priorities, husbandry. We're going to want to increase this fold. In fact, nah, we'll let him do the other stuff, but he needs to do husbandry first. And then the other thing you need to do, though, once you assign him the husbandry, or you make that a priority, then you're going to want to make an animal husbandry zone. And you're going to want to basically zone this out. You want to zone out one for your sheep, and you want to zone out one for your cows. Let's go ahead and actually so we're gonna go like this. Actually, yeah, okay, there we go. So we did create two zones. I gotta figure out how to do this again. So slaughter when animal count reaches, we'll say I want to say 40. Let's say 40. Let's set it to that. And I think that's good. Let's see, configure husbandry zone. Okay. Oops. So left click. So this one we're going to set to 40 as well. Now, I want to find more cows. I do. I definitely want to find more sheep. But honestly, I think it's okay right now, because, like, here's the thing. Even though we're not going to get meat from these animals yet, from slaughtering yet, that animal keeper is now going to start gathering wool from them and gathering milk bottles, and that is going to give us, like I said, food and wool on tap. So we no longer have to go get it manually. We're just going to have that on tap. So it's going to unlock a lot of food for us, and it's going to allow us to start making beds en mass producing beds. We don't have to steal them from villages anymore. So that's so this is huge. We just hit a huge milestone. So but back to what we were talking about, Fenru. Yeah, you don't want to compare it to the point that it makes you depressed, or that you get down on yourself, right? Because you don't want to beat yourself up, no matter what. You don't want to take the bat to yourself. It's a total losing game. There's nothing good that comes from it. Better to be deluded, about your strengths than to, like, think that you're worthless. Because really, no one is. We all have strengths and weaknesses. You just have to find out what your strengths are, and then like play to them. Right now, I guess that's kind of the thing. So, like for me, I'm really good at teaching, right? I feel like I'm really good at teaching, or you know, doing tutorials, right? So I do tutorials. I like to teach people how to do stuff. I like to help people, I like to guide people, you know, whatnot. That's something I feel that I do feel like I do it well, you know. And it's a way of giving back and being of service, you know, which and being spiritual, I think, really for me, it's so much more fulfilling when you help someone than when you take from someone. Absolutely. So, you know, we could get really philosophical on that, but like, yeah. So that's one of my strengths, right? Obviously, I'm good at coming out with guides. So, you know, you need to identify what you're good at, right? So what you think you're good at. And now here's a secret. A lot of people, they're like, not all, but a lot of people are like, oh, I don't know what I want to do in my life, or I don't know what makes me happy. I can't figure out that question. No. I think the easiest way to find out what makes you happy is to find out what you're good at. And because if you do something well, and you do it often enough, and you start doing it a lot, you're going to enjoy it because you're good at it, right? So why wouldn't you enjoy something that you're good at? You know, logical, right? Now, there's exceptions to this, obviously. You know, not going to go into them, but like, yeah, I mean, there's exceptions to every rule, but for the most part, if you find out what you're good at and then you do it, you're going to feel better because you're going to feel accomplished. You're going to have successes. You know, you're going to start getting success because you're good at it. All right. Conversely, if you know you're not good at something, don't do it. You know, like, or do it as little as possible. As you know, so like, if you're not good at getting up in the morning, then don't get up in the morning. You don't get up at like 10 or something if you can help it. Now, some people have jobs. I get that. Like I said, exceptions. But like, you know, if you can arrange your life to where, you know, you're not doing stuff that you suck at, and you're only doing stuff that you're good at, I mean, that's a good recipe. Now, that's obviously, it's never going to be like that 100%. Everybody has to do things that they don't want to do. But you get what I'm saying? Like, if you do things you're good at, naturally, that's going to be something that you want to do most of the time. You know? So that's kind of, and I'm talking about in the area of like talent and, you know, activity, things that you like, you know, things that you like doing. And like, for example, you know, Michael Jordan, you know, don't know what you guys think of him, but like, you know, arguably one of the best basketball players that ever lived. You know, I don't think that he would have been the greatest if he didn't like basketball. You know what I mean? Like, and in fact, I don't think he would have liked basketball if he sucked at it, right? Even Michael Jordan. So, like, that's the thing. You know? So yeah, a long-winded way of saying, you know, try to focus on what you're good at. So, like I said, if I'm now, let's look at laziness, right? So you could reframe that and be like, well, I strongly believe in time management. I don't believe in wasting my time. I don't believe in, you know, like putting in more effort than what I'm worth, or I mean, than what it's worth. Like, so being careful about and being investment conscious is a positive trait. It's just taken to an unhealthy level. So all you got to do is simply maybe scale it back a bit and be like, now, I'll tell you how I break through laziness and and it's part of the reason I was able to make all these videos. When I feel very fatigued, or I just, like I said, I feel very low energy, motivation, I pace myself. So that's one of the things I've done is I'll do 30 minutes on and 30 minutes off. So I'll work for, or even I'll chill and do jack shit for 30 minutes, and then I'll work for 10, you know. But here's the reason why it works, because any effort is infinitely better than no effort. So even if you work, you know, you rest 30 minutes and work 10 minutes, by the end of the day, if you're doing that all day, you just spent like 2 hours working on a video. That's not bad. Sometimes that's all people, that some of the biggest YouTubers, they only have 2 hours to work on a video, you know? So you get what I'm saying? So really, it's about pacing yourself. You don't have to be David Goggins. Really fucking don't. Don't have to be David Goggins to succeed. I really don't believe that. I've seen otherwise. You know, it's the same adage, work smarter, not harder. So that's kind of where pacing yourself comes. You know, if you can pace yourself, do a little bit here, a little bit there, in like small increments. Or big increments, whatever you prefer, right? And you can adapt it as you see fit. You know, what works for you. Then that's how I break laziness every time. When laziness is killing me, I just go, okay, I'm setting a timer. I'm gonna fuck around for an hour, and then for an hour I'm gonna work, or for 10 minutes I'm gonna whatever you want to do. And I would start small, honestly. If you have a real problem with this, I would like, you know, do 5 minutes. Just work for 5 minutes, and then rest for like an hour, and just repeat throughout the day. And next thing you know, man, you'll be surprised at how much shit you get done. Dude, just doing that. Let alone an hour on and an hour off, which is what I usually do. So that's kind of another method I use. You know, when I need to break through lack of motivation and laziness. So but yeah, I hope that helped you. I hope that helped somebody. But so it's 2:12, or it's been 2 hours and 12 minutes. I think I'm gonna finish my food. I think I'm gonna end the stream and finish my food. Next time we play this, well, this is my actual game, so I don't know when we'll play this again. But like I said, you know what, guys? I just wanted to show this game to you guys. If you like Necesse, if you like this game, you know, it's very cheap on Steam. I think it's like maybe, actually, let's pull it up. Let's see how much it is. Look at the store. It's got 11,000 positive reviews, so it's not completely obscure. It's $15. I mean, this is a fun ass game for 15. Well worth it. I think it actually used to be cheaper, but no, and the other thing is, so use my examples again. The developers are working on this game constantly. They are constantly being involved with the game right now, constantly adding things. This game looks nothing like it did when they... So that's I think is valuable. Anyway. So yeah, if you like Necesse, leave a comment. You know, let me know that you want to see more of it. Otherwise, we'll move on. I don't know what we're doing tomorrow. We may be playing this. We may be playing something else. Actually, you know what? Honestly, I'm feeling like tomorrow. Tomorrow's the 8th. I think we're gonna play Vampire Survivors because you guys have never seen me play Vampire Survivors, but I have played the crap out of that game. I have most of the stuff. I don't have all the secrets. I don't have all the achievements. I still have not killed the Reaper yet. I feel like it's way too much work, like way too much bullshit. So I haven't had a lot of interest in trying to kill the Reaper yet, but like I have thought about just getting a guide on YouTube and like copy. But like but I really love the game. I do. I got all the DLC, so I could like, you know, I could just play that tomorrow. Or we could play, well, I'm gonna play one game at a time, but then after I'm done with Space Marine 2, we could like, there's this other game called Brutato. I could pull that out. We could play that. So yeah, stick around, keep coming back to the Volairen show. You know, if you want to see me play more obscure games, yeah, please let me know that you like this idea if you do. Yeah, anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Probably tomorrow for Stellaris, or tomorrow morning or evening for Stellaris. Have a good one. I'll see you next time.